Hi, my name is Robyn Johnson, and I'm from Marketplace Blueprint. And today I'm going to share with you some tips about optimizing and how to really get the lift that you need from optimizing on Amazon, because it is not what it used to be at all. And we want to really share what you need to do in order to move the needle on your products. So let's go ahead and get started. A little bit about me first is that I've had the privilege and honor of speaking every place from Harvard to PubCon. I'm a regular contributor for Search Engine Journal, and I've had the privilege of speaking at a lot of amazing conferences, including Resonate here. And I'm really excited to be sharing what I've learned with you within over a decade of selling on Amazon. I started as a reseller over a decade ago. I've been eating, sleeping, breathing Amazon ever since. And I want to share with you some of the things that we've learned about optimizing and how optimizing for Amazon has really changed over the last several years. The first thing is that, there is a lot more competition on Amazon than there ever has been in the past, but there still is lots of room for established brands and sophisticated private labels to still make really great gains for you to make really great profits. Amazon is still a wonderful place to play, but it does take more strategic thought, and you do need to be a little bit more active in the role of digital marketing than you did 5 years ago. So in that sense, Amazon is very different, but there's still lots of great opportunity if you're willing to kind of learn how the game is changing and making sure you're staying up to date with what's really going on in Amazon right now. Most brands are still leaving money on the table. I audit a lot of accounts from brands that are, everything from really small accounts to publicly traded large companies that, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on Amazon. And for most of the accounts that I audit, there's still money that's being left on the table in either the way that their listings are being optimized or the way that their ads are being utilized to help them with their organic rank and, of course, their overall lift. And I'm going to share with some things with you that are kind of like minivan. You might think, oh man, this is minivan stuff. This is boring. But even though it's boring, it's not. It's basic. It's not boring. These are the techniques that we're actively using in our agency. This is just one of our clients. It's a tool company. They've been around for over a decade, and they have retail distribution in a lot of major big box stores. In 2020, they had over $40 million in annual sales. And when we took over their Amazon listings, they'd already been existing on Amazon. They had already been optimized from an agency. So it wasn't like we were taking a well-known brand and just launching it on Amazon. We were just refining what was already there. In the first year, we increased their Amazon channels 118% year over year. And the ROAS average during that growth, that pretty large growth, because they had a significant amount of sales in the beginning, averaged between $12.54 to $14.14 during that growth. They used that top line revenue. The top line revenue increase was significant enough that they were able to use that as part of their pitch to investors to net a $40 million to the company in an additional investment round. So even established companies that might in the past have kind of really relied on their brand search, that is what there's still lots of opportunity even there to expand and make sure that you're maximizing the market cap for your particular products. Now, if you're attending Resonate, I know you're probably already a pretty decent seller because there's not usually a lot of brand new people here. But in case there are brand new people, these are the fundamentals of listing optimization. These are the things that are most important to include about a product. And we want to make sure we're including as many relevant keywords as possible without keyword stuffing, filling all the available spots. And I have some basic links to basic listing optimization that's in that marketplaceblueprint.com/free. You can go get that. I don't have time to go over the basics today because I want to make sure I get you some more advanced stuff. Listing optimization, the way that it was 4 or 5 years ago, isn't enough to be successful on Amazon anymore. We really, really have to go beyond that. So I'm going to take you through the fundamentals that we still use that, I think sometimes people forget about as they're looking at all these new Lamborghini exciting ideas. And these are the fundamental ideas that we are able to drive consistent growth for both small and large companies. And the key piece of that, a cornerstone for our agency is really that optimized listings are fundamental for overall growth. The more brand awareness you have, the more you can get away with poor listing design. So you might say, well, Lego's not doing this. Well, DeWalt's not doing this. And that could be true. And they could still have significant sales. But the less brand awareness that you have and like brand affinity, you have people already searching for your products, the more you need to have that the fundamentals of your listing nailed down to make sure you're maximizing your market cap. So poor listing optimization allows for reduced market share and performance, and it also allows for knockoff competitors, for other products, other companies to come in and kind of steal some of your market share. So, of course, if you haven't already been doing this, if you're trying to determine whether your listings need a re-optimization, first go to the detailed page sales and traffic report that's in the business report, and you should be looking at unit session percentage and compare that over time. The other place that we want to look is comparing your keywords and how many keywords are you indexed for compared to your competitors. And by doing that, we can see, how is it that they're getting their traffic? We can use reverse ASIN searches to kind of identify, okay, so they're on the top 10 positions for 422 terms, and I'm indexed in the top 10 positions for 5 terms. Okay, well, it makes sense that they're outselling me 6 to 1, because not only that, but the keywords that they're ranking in those top organic positions have a lot more volume than the ones that I'm doing. So by doing that, you can kind of identify if, outside of just the listing, the sales and traffic report, whether or not your listing is struggling because it's not being indexed, because it's not ranking. And we want to make sure we're looking at those two things independently. Indexing and ranking are separate, but we need to, the start of identifying and resolving the indexing always is going to start from the good keyword research. And then once we have that, we get as many index keywords as possible, then we can work specifically on ranking. The other thing I'd like you to look at is questions. Sometimes people will say, but my listing's doing so well, look at all the great questions I have. That's wrong. If you have a lot of questions, now there's always an exception to the rule, right? So somebody's going to have some quirky reason why theirs is great, and that's good. In general, I look at questions. When I look at, I'm auditing a listing and I see 6 questions, one that has 24 results, helpful votes, I think somebody wanted to buy this product so badly that they were willing to type in the question and wait to hopefully get a response, because they weren't going to make the purchase until they got the answer to that question. So there's something stopping. You have friction on your listing that's stopping people from buying. And the other resistance I get to that is, well, the question they're asking is dumb. I clearly have that in my bullets. In mobile, bullets are way far down. Not everybody even reads the bullets. If you have something buried in a bullet, it might not exist to a customer. So even if you say, well, this question's already been asked and answered, then we still want to make sure that we're putting that somewhere in the images. We're doing something else, maybe putting it in the A+ content to make sure it's really, really clear, so that customers have no confusion and no reason to not buy if they're potential buyers. We want to look at what is going to keep my customers from making that purchase, and what do I need to know to discourage buyers who are not a fit, and encourage my exact customer avatar. Now, as you're doing your keyword research, I just want to take a little quick aside that reverse ASIN searches are not enough to base all of your keyword research on. Now, if you're selling blue iPhone cases, you're probably right. They're probably, everybody's probably snuffed out all of the variations for blue iPhone case. However, for most products, when you just use the reverse ASIN search and we don't do that manual thinking of what are some of the keywords, what are some of the synonyms, what are some of the regional words, you're going to miss out on the keywords that are not being utilized by advertisers, that are not being utilized by your competitors, and that are going to give you the easiest access to actually get some traction on your listing. So if there is gold for you to find, you're going to miss it if you're only using reverse ASIN search sometimes. So it is worth taking that extra 20 minutes per listing to do it and really think about additional keywords that need to happen outside of your reverse ASIN search. And if you're looking at your keyword research and you're putting things in, you're trying to type your keywords in, and you're saying, why is this not in my keyword research? That's a good indicator that either we're not picking reverse ASIN searches that are a good correlation, that are highly relevant to our products, or it could also be that that there's missing keyword research in like the seed keywords that you're utilizing to make sure that you're catching all of those important keywords. Remember, we want to think about keywords as doors for our products. Each keyword phrase that you're indexed for is another door that customers can find your product. So we want to maximize the number of doors. But Amazon has been actively working to limit the number of doors. They've been, title counts are character capped. Back in search were capped at a certain character amount. And now we're seeing some bullets in some categories are also being capped around 256 characters. So we want to, with the amount of space that we have to be more strategic. So, a couple years ago, I would have said, we just want to get as many keywords as possible. We just want to maximize the number of keywords. That was true. Now I'm going to say, let's be a little bit more strategic in the way that we do this. Let's really think through the keywords and which keywords are most important to our sales, and start thinking about how can we maximize the number of keywords that we're utilizing. I really love frequency counters. Pretty much all of the major search term estimators have this. And if yours don't, or you just don't want to pay for a search term tool, rightwords.org.uk has a free frequency counter. We'll basically take all of the keyword research, so all of the individual words, put them in this keyword frequency counter, and then that puts it all in individual words, which makes it much easier for me to identify which words need to go into the listing, and will also give me a frequency count. I sort that by highest to smallest, and then what that does is, as long as I've done quality research, if you get a lot of weird words that aren't in there, that means that you've put some keywords that maybe have mixed profiles. So for example, a Star Wars shirt with Chewbacca and a Star Wars shirt with Jar Jar Binks on them, they're going to have very different different keywords that are associated with them. They're both going to have shared keywords in Star Wars, shared keywords in shirts, but they're going to have very different keywords around the characters and the franchises that they're in. So basically, these frequency counters are going to help us identify the most number of combinations that we can index for. So by including the ones that are indexed, that are included the most in that frequency count, then what we can do is we can say, okay, these are the ones that are going to unlock the greatest number of keyword phrases. Now, as you upload your listings, just a quick side note that you want to make sure you're following up. Sometimes we have been getting some errors recently where it says it's uploaded, but it didn't upload. And then you want to actually look at some data, use an index checker, track the unit session percentage, see if your conversion rate went up or down. Keep in mind seasonality as you do that. And then using A/B testing. Everybody knows about Manage My Experiments. I think Splitly is closing. That's why I took them off. SellZone also has a split testing tool as well. But use some tools to actually A/B test changes, especially around titles, bullets, and images. This can be really powerful. A+ content also can be good as well, but I find that I get a bigger difference from the title and bullets and images than I do from the A+ content most of the time. Now, as you're crafting your listing, one thing you want to be thinking about is you're going to always be balancing two goals, and those two goals are often conflicting. So your first goal is to index for as many words as possible within the limited space, and focusing most on the most relevant keywords, the customers that are going to bring in the buyers that are most likely to purchase for your product. The second thing that we're going to do is we're going to try to make sure that we're writing compelling copy, so much so that the customer really gets all of their question answered. They understand how this product is going to help them in their lives, and they're clear that this product is for them. So we want to make sure that our copy is written for the customer. We want to focus on the buyer intent. When we're thinking about keywords, we're not just thinking about, is this keyword relevant? We're thinking about, is somebody who's looking for my product likely to use this keyword? And if you haven't dug into integrating psychographics into your customer avatar, this is really, can be really, really powerful and can really help you, especially if you're having trouble narrowing down those keyword phrases. Think about the internal and external needs of the customer, and make sure the photos match the psychographics of the customer. So demographics are things like, most of us know about demographics. How much money do you make? What part of the country do you live in? How old you are? This is going to be, psychographics are going to be like, what more are their interests? What are their concerns? What kind of social things are they interested in? And helping them to understand the kind of the deeper psychographic needs of your customer can help you make sure that you're really highlighting the true benefits of your products as you're writing those bullets and as you're crafting your images. Now, everybody knows we need to take these keywords and we integrate them into title. What I do see a lot of is I see people focusing on the title and bullets. They get as many keywords as they can in there, and then they go straight to search terms. When we're missing this second piece, there are some additional keywords that can go in the additional structured data that's in that flat file, like genre, color, fabric type that can help you make more room for additional keywords, because we want to make sure we're trying to maximize the number of keywords. This is a way to do it without, and additionally, the other thing is that with that structured data, some of that's actually now surfacing on the top of the listing on the actual product detail page on the front. And so that can help provide additional information. And when that's filled out, sometimes it pushes down the competitor advertising a little bit further. And we want to do anything we can to kind of push those competitors down a little bit. Now, you've done your keyword research, you've integrated your listing, you feel like you've got my listing perfect. Now what we want to do is we want to trust but verify. And that means that as we run our ads, we want to look at the keywords that we prioritize for our listing and see, are we actually getting results from those keywords? If not, what do I need to do? Do I need to change the bullets? If I thought most of my customers were going to come under keyword A, but they're really coming in under keyword B or C, then do I need to change my title, or do I need to change my bullets to make sure that those keywords are front and center, and that the use cases for those keywords are connected, are also really highlighted, so it's really easy for customers that come in on that keyword to identify that this product is for them. And again, so you want to take the data from your ads and to help you identify any false assumptions or misidentified avatars, change and update your listing, and then that can help further increase the performance of your advertising. Make sure you're A/B testing different bullets to kind of hone the message. And in the beginning of A/B testing, it's really important that you test one variable at a time. Try to test things that are a little bit, bold changes in the beginning as you kind of get used to reading that data. And if you haven't been around for a while, might not have heard this, but most of us have mobile first optimization on Amazon is really easy. Get on your mobile phone, actually check out how your listing looks on Amazon, and you'll see that the title and the images are really the only thing above the fold. So we want to make sure we're including the most important elements above that. That means that your images need to be on point, and then we want to make sure that most important data that is crucial for buying that's in the bullets is also mirrored in the images. Now, we're not going to take the image and we're not going to copy and paste it, but we are going to make sure that things like dimensions, things like use types, things like features and benefits that are very clearly outlined in the images as well as the bullets. Of course, your primary image has different rules. Make sure your primary image matches the category style guidelines for your particular category. And so for building your listing, we want to also check, as you're building your listing, check for available variations. Whenever possible, we want to use the swatch variations versus just the name label if possible. And sometimes it makes more sense to split listings up. There are times where, because the listing has gotten so big, you've now moved into a drop down where it's hard for customers to navigate, or it's hard for customers to identify the difference between the two. If you're out of stock a lot of two models, and can be a frustrating experience for customers. So make sure you look at how the interface is actually showing up, and make sure you're only using valid variation types. Amazon has been very particular about that lately. If you've been in a coma and you haven't noticed that Amazon has been really, really crazy around pesticides, you should wake up and hope you enjoyed your sleep. Welcome to the pandemic, and there's this new pesticides thing. Any words like antimicrobial, insect resistant, anything that's going to deter any kind of pest, that's going to be classified as a pesticide, and it's going to cause issues for you. So unless that's a key component, and ideally you have your EPA ID that you have registered and on your label on your packaging, then what you're going to need to do is that you're going to, you want to avoid that. So if it's not crucial for selling, we're going to take those keywords out of our listing. Whenever possible, we always want to build with flat files. I have a Facebook group, and in that I've got two videos that walk you through flat files and walk you through some flat file tips. You can join and then just say you came from this conference, and you don't need to give me your email or anything like that. I'll just let you in, and then if you get it, and then you can pop right back out. Okay, so then the next question is, my product is still not selling. Now what? We all know about the Amazon flywheel, but sometimes it's hard to identify what does that actually mean for what we need to do next as a seller. So we need to start with listing optimization. We're going to use clippable coupons and advertising to help drive conversions. Those conversions are then going to yield reviews. We're going to use the reviews and the data we got from our ads to help us to identify what changes need to happen to our listing, and we're going to complete the process over again. That's how we're going to get those incremental changes, especially on highly competitive commoditized products. Remember that there's a role of advertising that advertising has in Amazon, especially including discounts. Amazon, we all know, has been trying to eliminate product reviews. We can't have friends and family leave things. We're not supposed to be brushing. So that really leaves advertising and promotions as the primary way to drive and improve SERPs. SERPs are search engine result pages to kind of change where you are on the rankings. Remember, advertising on Amazon has a halo effect, so that you might see that your overall orders go up even beyond what's directly attributed to ads. Pulling back on ads will not always reduce your overall sales. So you can't pull back on ads after you've achieved certain ranking statuses. But if you stop the ads completely, you can start to see a diminishing of that halo. Remember, Amazon is the most greedy capitalistic search engine out there. So when it comes down to advertising on Amazon, one of the primary factors is the past conversion. So how can we increase those conversions? First, we can focus by incentivizing purchases. Discounts can help you incentivize those purchases, things like clippable coupons, lightning deals that have now been increased up to 12 hours. There's the promotions are kind of BOGOs as well. I love clippable coupons, 60 cents to redeem. They show up in the SERP, they show up in your ads, so they can increase click-through rates as well as your overall ad conversions, and you have a lot more control over when they run. That's why in general, I'm going to recommend them over lightning deals. Lightning deals can be great if you have a product that people need an excuse to purchase. It has to be kind of an aspirational product, but they can be really, really great. There is a minimum discount. It's 4 to 12 hours depending on the lightning deal and kind of how Amazon looks at your products. We also want to look at how we can drive rankings with ads. So keyword ranking objectives are going to be where you're looking at a specific keyword and trying to rank those keywords specifically for a campaign. So this is going to be different than a general ROI-based campaign and different than a brand awareness campaign. What we're going to do is we're going to focus on, this can help us to regain ground over competitors. It can be worth running at a short time loss. And then once you get your product up at the top of search for a specific search term for a specific keyword phrase for about 3 weeks, then you pull back the ads to make sure that the listing has stuck the landing, and then you can go back to your normal ad spend. So this is something that we're actively doing. It still does work. I changed the product name to kind of change the protect the company that we were working with here, but let's just say it was garlic salt, and the position was not indexed and not ranking, so we got it indexed, so it was on page 67 or whatever it was. We focused on trying to rank specifically for the keyword garlic salt. So we're primarily working in sponsored products, specifically driving sales for this highly relevant keyword that the listing did convert well for. The TROAS dropped from, it was getting 12.59, it dropped to $4 to $5 during this campaign, so still profitable, but not nearly as profitable as it was. Once it had held that position at the top for 3 weeks, we had pulled it back the ad spend on that search term. The TROAS rebounded to $11.57. Well, it close to double the organic sales. Close to doubling the total sales as we return the ad spend back to normal, and then it held that position. So it was able to provide a big bump in overall sales over a long period of time for a short disruption in profitability. Now, the key to this is that it has to primarily be sponsored products. Yes, any ads that you run are going to help conversion history, and so they are going to help your organic rank, but we're looking to try to do these keyword ranking campaigns. We're focusing on sponsored products because sponsored brands is going to use a combination of custom landing pages and store pages, and so you don't get kind of that super URL benefit that people were getting from the super URLs. So it's kind of a white hat way to kind of get those keyword connected sales for your product. Now, as you're looking at this, you might identify that the products, the keywords that you're really wanting to work for, maybe they are too popular, they're too competitive. So if you were trying to get to you were trying to get to a office phone system, then you might start with PBX office phone system, run that process for there. Once you held and stuck that landing, then we're going to go to the broader keyword. Remember that some keywords are so broad, they're going to bring in irrelevant buyers. So phone system might be relevant for a PBX office phone system, but it's also going to be bringing in people who are looking for other things. Same thing for phone. Somebody who's searching for phone could be looking for a PBX office phone system, but they also could be looking for a cell phone. They could be looking for a landline phone. So we're not getting the best target customer for our products with that keyword. Remember that limited keywords mean more strategic thinking is necessary. So our ad budgets aren't stretching as far. We have these limited character accounts. So we have to focus on the most relevant keywords, and the keywords are going to bring in the best buyers. Then we know we need to start to get sales in order to have, we have to start with sales in order to get sales. So we're going to take advantage of new ad types as much as possible. Sponsored brands, I'm sure somebody in the conference is already talking about sponsored brands and how awesome they are. So I'm not going to go into that too much. And then what we want to look at is making sure that we're also looking at how we're managing our inventory. Inventory is playing an increasingly important role in the way that we manage our product launches on Amazon. So you really need to think about how are you going to handle your IPI, your restock limits, making sure that that's held in place, and also having redundancy, being able to have options to send in merchant fulfilled to make sure you don't completely lose your stacking, making sure that you've got really healthy lead times and that you're building in as healthy of a margin as you can as you're doing that product sourcing, so that you have the money to do those ads for the launches, and to make sure that you're doing those defensive ad strategies in order to maintain your position overall. So those are kind of the big things that I wanted to talk about today. There's always a lot more when it comes to listing optimization that we could talk about, but it is really important that when we're looking at listing optimization, we're looking at the role of advertising, we're looking at the role of inventory, and we're looking at things holistically. That's the problem with just having somebody who doesn't understand the entire Amazon ecosystem running your ads. So if you have somebody who's not familiar with the Amazon ecosystem, you need to get them involved in our communities so they really understand the entire picture. Otherwise, you're going to run into a lot of brick walls, because things like pesticides impact the way that our ads run and our performance and our launch campaigns as well if our listing gets pulled back. So we need to be thinking about ranking on Amazon as a holistic approach. It starts with indexing. Then it goes to great listing optimization. From great listing optimization, then we move into managing our inventory and our launch and our advertising and our coupons. Then we kind of circle back around and rinse and repeat in order to get the results that we want. I hope that this session has been valuable to you. Feel free to reach out to me with questions. I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook too. And then I have those freebies that are available. For some of you, those might be a little bit basic. For some of you, that might be exactly what you need. But if you ever get stuck, feel free to reach out to me as well. I hope you had a fabulous, I hope you have a fabulous day here at Resonate and learn so much. And I want to thank you for giving me the time to share today. Thanks.